The Chieftain Mark 6 has been around for an extensive period of time in World of Tanks Blitz. It is mainly relevant for the fact that it has deadly hold-down capabilities and combined with turret armor that exceeds the limits to that of the average heavy at 350mm. You also have a very accurate gun with very solid DPM factors, having 2.9 seconds of aiming time with 0.262 dispersion, and for the DPM factors is 2945 with an 8.15 second reload time, paired with very solid penetration factors, and also paired as well with very solid damage output. Now, the reason why I'm talking about the Chieftain Mark 6 is because it is getting a change in the very next seasonal update. And what kind of change, you may be asking, is that it is getting a second gun. Now, the second gun on this vehicle is pretty much going to be similar to that of a Charlemagne, but put into the Chieftain Mark 6, as it is going to feature premium Hesh. Now, will that change anything for the Chieftain Mark 6 now that it's getting a new gun? I hope it doesn't, for the fact that the current gun on this vehicle is perfect just the way it is, and that if they replace it with the Hesh firing gun, then you're going to experience less DPM, less aiming time. Pretty much you're just going to be in a worst case scenario when trying to use this vehicle with the Hesh firing gun. So what I'm hoping upon Wargaming's behalf is that they give it as a secondary and not replace it with the current gun at the moment. Although it wouldn't really change the playstyle of the Chieftain one way or another, it would just be affected towards the individual gun, aiming time, and DPM factors. So it's really nothing to be concerned about when it comes towards this tank as for when the next update drops. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into some gameplay right over here and demonstrate what we can do in this vehicle. So, in terms of their heavies, they have another Chieftain Mark 6, they have an E75. That's pretty much all they have in terms of their heavies, so it looks like we got as much support needed coming over towards the left side with me. So let's see if I can use my deadly hold down capabilities to the best that I can, because that's mainly what the Chieftain Mark 6 is considered to be. So let's go ahead and mosey on through right around here. Let's go ahead and poke right behind this ridgeline in case if anybody decides to want to come around towards the far left side of the map. Alright. So it looks like we already have a T-22 medium spotted off in the back, and we got the other Chieftain off in the back as well. Not able to get the shell into his hatch, but that is completely fine. So let's go ahead and reload once again. Let's see what else that they got that's going to probably push on upwards over here. So remaining stationary for the time being. There's a nice shot into that Chieftain's hatch right there. So we're going to reload once again. We're going to go ahead and point our gun upwards so this guy has a little bit of a hard time trying to pen us. But that is not certainly the case, as I got a little too greedy and decided to want to overpoke it. So let's go ahead and get a nice tap into that Type 68's hatch right there. Alright, we're going to reload once again. Let's see what we can do apart from the other Chieftain. So there we go, another nice tap into his hatch right there. So we're just going to go ahead back on up for the time being. I don't know why my vehicles are sitting on back for the time being. Way off in the back, as a matter of fact. So let's go ahead and turn our attention over towards the E75. Maybe get a clear into him. Alright, never mind. So I can turn my attention back over towards this Type 71 as I'm in a very solid spot at that. And there's another tap into the hatch, and that is where the very solid aiming time and dispersion come into play with the Chieftain Mark 6. It's mainly meant to hit hatches just like that, unfortunately, except for that shell. But it's based upon RNG statistic-wise, and if Wargaming wants to bless you with the most of it. But there's another nice tap into the other Chieftain's hatch right there. Reloading once again. Let's go ahead and mosey on upwards just a little bit. Let's see if we can get another tap into this Chieftain's hatch right there. Another nice tap for 409 into his vehicle. We are basically bleeding these two enemies out like it's absolutely nothing. So just want to be careful that that Type is not going to poke. Alright, let's go ahead. Oh, there he is. Alright, so we are able to overmatch his lower plate right there, as he does manage to expose it quite some ways. So let's go ahead and mosey on through to the Chieftain once again. Unfortunately, not able to get the hatching shell into him that time. But the good news is that these two enemies are low, and they are pretty much taken care with at the time being. There's another nice tap into the Chieftain Mark 1's hatch. Once again, this guy has pretty much no idea what he is expecting upon his own vehicle at that. So there's another nice hatching shell, and he is screwed. Like I said, that is pretty much what comes through with the Chieftain Mark 6 and its accuracy. It displays so much of it that for the majority of shells that you take, it is going to hit directly to where you're aiming in that regard. So anyways, let's go ahead and mosey on through right over here. They do have a Badger and a Minnow that's left. Alright, so we are able to spot the Badger off in the back. And it looks like that the Minnow is also spotted. So let's go ahead and mosey on through directly right behind these two. Let's see how much damage output that we can get into them. Alright, so continuing to mosey on forward. Let's see if this Minnow is probably going to turn back towards me. It might be the case, but I could care less, as I do have the hit points in order to take a couple hits from these guys in that regard. So we do got the Minnow spotted. We're going to continue moseying on upwards, but we do spot the Badger, who backs on up right into my peripheral point of view, and get the clear into him. So now moving on upwards towards the enemy Minnow. Let's go ahead and get another nice clear into that Minnow, and that is a very solid game, demonstrating the positive factors that contributed towards the Chieftain Mark 6. And why the gun, in the current stage that it's in, is a very deadly foe to ever face on the battlefield. So we were able to do 38-14, destroy 2 in the process, and block only 420, and do top on the team while at it. So let's go ahead and get into some more bits of gameplay demonstrating what more is to come with the Chieftain Mark 6. So, for the time being, having 350 turret armor may seem like it could be a deadly standard upon this vehicle, but as you can see, you still are able to overmatch that ginormous hatch on the roof, only if RNG allows you to surpass your limits. So anyways, let's go ahead and see how we can fare well upon our second game. And in terms of their heavies, they have a 50B, they also have another Chieftain, it looks like the same one at that. So, let's go ahead and mosey on through over towards the right side of the map. Or the left. Well, in terms of that. So anyways, let's go ahead and go over with my E50M. And try to see if we can hold off the hill from any potential threats that are trying to peck off our enemies from going up over to Seaside or try to attack the hill. So, moseying on through. Chieftain Mark 6 is not necessarily that maneuverable, but it does have the power to weight and necessarily the top speed in order to get to the front line rapidly, or for whatever it has carrying for it. So, let's go ahead and mosey on through. Maybe we can peck some enemies off in the distance. I should also mention that when trying to fire from a distance is where the Chieftain Mark 6's shell velocity tends to change in that regards as well. So, let's go ahead and continue moseying on through. I have no idea what our E50M is currently doing as he's screwing himself. Alright, so screw it. I am actually going to try to hold off the hill then, as that's pretty much all I can really ever do in that regard. So, because I never know what TDs could be lurking off in the back of the hillside right over there. But I am able to spot that 4005. Let's go ahead and get a pop shot into him real quick. E50 should... Oh, never mind. I was going to say he should be able to finish him off, but that doesn't happen to be the case. So, let's go ahead and back on up then. Alright, we got a 50B spotted off, or that's not a 50B. That's another Chieftain. Well, unfortunately enough, the shell velocity did contribute to us hitting that shell right there. So let's go ahead and reload once again. Let's see if we can get a... Oh, just barely misses the hatch. I knew that he was going to turn his turret at the last second too. Alright, so really all that I can do now is try to hold off these two to the best that I can. Or this would be a very aggressive maneuver. Alright, we also got the 4005 right over there. Alright, let's go ahead and mosey on upward towards him, as Mr. House Turret has one of the biggest turrets in the game that we can instantly overexpose. And heck yeah, that is where the aiming time of this thing comes necessarily into play. So let's go ahead and mosey on upward towards the Bat Chat right over here and get some nice chunkers into his vehicle. Alright, so where are you, Mr. Bat Chat? I know you would like to play with me, good sir. Oh boy, where are you hiding? Oh, Bat Chat! Oh, well, at least I can spot you. Oh, and you want to flank me, huh? Interesting. Oh, that's crazy that I missed that shell. Well, anyways, let's go ahead and mosey on through right over here and get a nice shot into the Bat Chat right there as he manages to bounce my side, unfortunately enough. This guy is pretty much just running around, just trying to mind his own business. And we get another pen into the bat chat at the moment. I don't really know what happened upon that first shot right there, as it didn't really factor in quite well. So that bat chat's going to mosey on through to the open right there. Crazy that I wasn't able to spot him and bounce the shell. So anyways, continuing to mosey on through towards the bat chat right there. Let's go ahead and try to get a tracking shell into him, but that doesn't happen to be the case. That's totally fine. So, continuing to mosey on through once again, this bat chat is pretty much going to be screwed at this point. So, goodbye, good sir. That's what you get for trying to run away the best that you can. Alright, well, we are able to spot the Badger off in the back right there. There's a nice tap into him for 402. We're basically just going to continue sitting right over here and farming out this Badger to the best that we can. So, there we go. Another nice tap for 374. Reloading once again. Alright, looks like all they got left is the E100. I thought he was cleared, but his tank disappeared, unfortunately enough. So, alright, so there he is. I'm probably not going to get the clear into him. That's a 0.1% chance, or not. 0% at that. But it just goes to show that the Chieftain Mark 6 still did its job fairly solidly. Alright, that is 2 victories down in the dumps. So, 3501 in this one, destroying 2 once again, pulling out a second class, and doing second on the team this time. Let's go ahead and get into game number 3 then. And let's patiently wait in queue and do the waiting part. Okay, I'll just have some Baja Blast then. So good. Alright, anyways, here we are in game number 3 on Normandy. So this is a very solid map to demonstrate the hold down capabilities. Fairly solid in that regard. So let's see what they got in terms of their heavies. Another Chieftain, yikes. A 50B, a concept, and that's pretty much all they got. Alright, so it looks like all tier 10 heavies at that. So, okay, it looks like we're going to be heading over towards the right side, interestingly enough. Well, Normandy has very solid hold down spots, like over on C side, and sometimes if you have your team going over towards A side, as a matter of fact, over that ridge line where the majority of enemies or allies in that regards turn their attention towards, is where this tank can use its hold down capabilities pretty deadly, including this spot right over here when you have some vehicles trying to push on up, whether they're off in the back or, for example, right over towards the side, which we are able to get a nice tap into that enemy Chieftain. So reloading once again. We also got the concept off to the side, who gets an unfortunate pen into me. Alright, reloading once again. Let's see if we can continue farming out this concept right there, as he is overexposing his hatch. Alright, not able to at the moment, which is totally fine. Alright, let's go ahead and continue moseying on through. We got the Chieftain exposed. Barely misses the hatch at that, which is highly unfortunate. So let's go ahead and continue to farm this guy out to the best that we can and get a nice, just bounces again. That is so unfortunate. Okay. Anyways, like I said, RNG really does want to contribute toward this vehicle only when it wants to. So let's go ahead and get a nice tap. And exactly to what I'm saying again. Snap shells are extremely annoying, especially when Wargaming wants to piss you off for that time being. Not able to pen him, but the Chieftain bounces me. There we go. Nice tap into the Chieftain's hatch right there. So let's go ahead, reload once again, remain put in this spot. Chieftain's going to continue to overexpose himself again. Oh my god. I'm just basically being lazy at this point. Like, I should have been kerblunkering this guy at the time being, but there we go. A nice tap into his hatch once again. So reloading once again. This concept over here really is going to try to be a pest towards me. So he is overexposing his rear. So there we go. I don't really care if he gets another shell into me. We're just going to go ahead and wiggle. There we go. We actually were managed to get a bounce into him. That's really good. All right. Turning our attention to try to finish off this enemy Chieftain right there. So 3, 2, 1. And there we go. Nice clear into you. All right, we got the Ritter off in the back now, who I would like to take care of. We also got the 50B. Let's see. Yep, we are able to get the clear into him now. That's really good. All right, Conway's down there. We also got the Ritter off in the back right over there. I'm just going to remain stationary for the time being because I don't want a 183 to kerblunk. Oh, never mind. The 183 is over there. Interesting. Okay. Well, now I can turn my attention over towards the Ritter, who's back over here. So let's go ahead and use our solid maneuverability. Okay. And I thought our T-54E1 was going to block us, but that doesn't happen to be the case. Let's go ahead and farm out this enemy Ritter right over here. Alright, reloading. Alright, let's get a nice tap for 410 into his turret. He is running Spolwiner, but that is completely fine, as we can continue to farm out this guy to the best that we can. So, there's another nice tap for 381. I could care less if you get a shell into me, good sir. I'm just going to go ahead and wiggle my way into submission, but that doesn't happen to work out as well. Alright, so we are able to get the clear into that Ritter, so all that's left is the enemy 183, who is just chillaxing off towards the side. And it looks like we are not going to be able to get some more damage into him as the base cap is going up drastically. Alright, yep, that is exactly the case. And the 183 is behind a rock. Unfortunate, but that is totally fine. 3 very solid victories demonstrating the positive outcome of the Chieftain Mark 6. And for the fact that this gun is fairly solid. We were able to surpass 3,000 damage 3 games in a row, pulling out some very solid stats, doing top on the team in this one. And for the next seasonal update, like I said before, I really hope that they add the Hesh gun as a secondary and not replace it with this one, because like I said, it could defeat the purpose of the Chieftain Mark 6, but it would make no difference in regards to its playstyle at that. So, even if they replace the gun with the Hesh firing gun, it really wouldn't make a difference for the playstyle. It would probably just have to be for the fact that players would have to get used to the fact that this thing would start hitting hard now for its Hesh firing gun, and it would have worse aiming time and worse DPM along with that. So anyways, hopefully you guys did end up enjoying today's video, and if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to turn on those bell notifications while at it so you don't miss out on any new videos, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.